On this video today, we're going to take a look at our ride from Vancouver to Kamloops on the Rocky Mountaineer, coming up right after this. I showed the boarding process in another video, and then, of course, after you're on board and the train starts to move, you've got to have your safety briefing. So that's what was happening here as we're getting the safety briefing. We're going to speed the process up a little bit, but they were very nice, very thorough in making sure you understood the safety features on board. And we're backing out of the station. It's kind of interesting because where the train is parked, you have to back out. And as we slow back down here in just a second, you'll see one of the traditions is all the crew at the station is out waving the Rocky Mountaineer flag and waving goodbye to the train. That's something they do every day, and it's a nice touch. Everybody was super friendly. And there is another video, I'll put a link up above, where we had boarded the train, showed that process from the terminal to the train. We still have a ways to back out, and then we're going to get on the main track, and you'll see us head out of town. So now we're on the main track and we're headed out. The video is sped up just to give some brevity to this, because the trip took us about 9 hours to make. We're going to see part of it in about 5 or 6 minutes here. After we got out of the main town area, we would travel alongside highways for most of the trip, it seemed. And that's because we would be traveling in river valleys, and that's the easy place to build both rail lines and to put highways. One of my favorite views was watching from the front of the car, watching the engine. I'm a train guy from way back, so you'll have to excuse my love of everything train, but I loved watching the engine and watching from that viewpoint. We'll also see some views later where I'm standing outside. Now this gets really scary because you see my face in the reflection. We had a couple of short tunnels here and we go right through them. Now I'm standing down in the open viewing area, and I spent a lot of my trip down there watching things go by. We'll go into the dining car and you'll see where we would have a dinner and breakfast. Actually, I should say breakfast and lunch. And this was the dining car, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And again, what a nice way to enjoy breakfast was to be sitting here watching the world slide by, and there'll be another video about the food on board, but having the opportunity to watch the world, enjoying a fine meal. Everything was just really nice about it. And there is an elevator, I showed it in the video on boarding, that takes passengers with mobility challenges from the upstairs to the downstairs, so you don't have to climb these steps like I do. The person at the front, our attendant, was telling us about the snacks he was getting ready to bring us, and also about the plan for breakfast. I'm going to settle into my seat. I'll let you enjoy the music for a few minutes. You can tell we put the film into hyperspeed here. And you'll notice as you look, the view you can see from your train seat. Basically, you can look from one horizon to the other with just a little tiny beam in the center. So in the train car, for those that have mobility challenges, you have an amazing view.
Enjoying the scenery?
I am. What'd you do, miss your ride? As I said, I like to stand outside on the viewing platform. He was going to get on the engine up. They had stopped and had to throw a switch. And so we're back underway. And this is one of the nice things about this, is a very spacious viewing pattern where you can stay out here and watch and listen to the sound of the rails. These are all things that I love. I spent a great deal of the trip here. My wife would spend her time up in her seat. You can see her there. She's busy with the pictures. I don't know how many pictures she took total, but I'm sure it was more than 1,000. That's the advantage of digital cameras, is you can just take pictures, and that was what she would do most of the trip. You can see we're going along this river. This is the springtime. There's a lot of melt, which is why the river is kind of silty looking. It gets clearer later in the season. The salmon come up to spawn, and you can see one of the many waterfalls we saw along this trip. You'll see more later in the video, but it was super cool to be able to see the water from the snow melt up in the mountains coming down and falling over these cliffs of varying heights. You can see the river is a little calmer there. We're getting ready to go under a train trestle that goes over the top. There are two different companies that own track in this area, and they share track for part of the journey, but they also have separate tracks. And so we're going to go under this train bridge in just a minute. And again, if you haven't subscribed, we really appreciate it if you do so. As we go under the trestle, you'll see how easy it is to get a good view of things with these glass panels in the ceiling. So right under the trestle we went. This river is flowing out to the Pacific, and it is a salmon spawning stream. The salmon will run up a lot of these rivers and lakes to spawn in the fall. We'd also go through areas that were in valleys along the river, and you'll see here where we have mountains and little villages or towns. Again, pretty much always we're traveling along a road somewhere. Again, one of the things that we like about train travel, and my wife and I both are huge fans, is the fact that you get to see the scenery slide by and you can enjoy it and look around in comfort. You don't have to drive. It just happens. Again, this was my wife's favorite thing to do. This was our room at the hotel in Kamloops. We booked an accessible room. They knew we were traveling with a wheelchair. And so we had a really nice room. We'll take a tour of it here. And you'll notice the bathroom is easy for Cheryl to get in with the wheelchair. And she's able to, the toilet's got a rail that drops down on one side. The shower, I'll show you in a minute. It's not a roll-in shower, but for most people, it should work. There's good clearance under the sink, as we saw. There are a couple of things that I'll mention about the shower in a second. One of them is the shower seats really close there to the wand or the handheld shower. There's also a shower on handheld control on the other end. They did leave it up a little high, I thought, but you saw there's just a little tiny lip to get in there. And again, plenty of space in the room. You can see there's power and lights by the bed. We had a view out the window. Plenty of space. Little microwave there. Coffee maker. So this room worked really well. Very nice handicap room. And again, it's one of those things that we experienced throughout the trip with, in fact, you can see there's the half-height clothes rod where we hung up some stuff. The safe's down low where you can get to it easily. You can see there's plenty of space in there for our luggage. If you look at your subscribe button and it's red, that means that you're not subscribed. You can click on my face. That will subscribe you. In the box on the right, there is another video about this trip I think you'll enjoy. We'll see everybody next time.